Hello and welcome to We Poets. We Poets is a poetry show for boys and girls between the ages of 6 and 13 years old. Tonight is We Poets' 34th year anniversary, and I'm going to be interviewing some of the people who started out many years ago with We Poets, and now they're grown up, and they're going to tell us all about their experience. And then we have 3 poets that we're going to hear from, and I'm going to interview Adnan Tuma, the director, after I've interviewed everybody else. So here we go with our first poet. Hello, young man.
Hello.
How are you tonight? How are you?
Good.
Good for you. Could you look right there at the camera and tell us your name and how old you are, please?
My name is Sam, and I am 9 years old.
Good. And you've written a poem for us for our birthday tonight, but tell us who your poem is about, please.
My poem is about my grandmother.
Okay, and where does your grandmother live?
The Philippines.
Okay, what's the name of your poem?
Lola.
Okay, let's hear it nice and loud, please.
Lola, loud and clear, speaking Tagalog, the language of the Philippines. Her smell, the scent of the lemon that she slices for her lemon water. But sometimes she smells like pompano fish soup. Lola is my grandma, with light brown skin and brown hair, who sleeps on my pull-out bed and prays the rosary with me. She has gone to the Philippines, but I still have memories of her.
Thank you. Let's clap. Wasn't that a nice poem? Very good, very good. Well, I'm so glad that you could come and help us celebrate our birthday tonight, and you did a wonderful job, and I'd like to have you come again when we do another show. Would you like that?
Yeah.
Good for you. Let's give him another round of applause. And now we have another pretty young lady, and she's going to tell us her name, and then she's going to read a poem. So here we go. Hello, young lady.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
Good.
Oh, good. Is this your first time on TV?
Yes.
Oh, you look very pretty tonight, and I'm glad you could come. Could you look there at the camera and tell us your name again and how old you are, and the name of the poem you're going to read, please?
My name's Idara, and I'm 7 years old.
Good. I'm glad you could come tonight. And what's the name of the poem you're going to read, please?
Dancing.
Okay, let's hear it nice and loud, please.
Dancing is my favorite thing. I love to move around. If I can't jump and twist and turn, my smile turns into a frown.
Good. Let's clap. Wasn't that a nice poem? Very good. Very good. Now, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about you before I hear from our next poet?
No.
Well, you did a very good job, and you look so pretty tonight, and I'm glad you could come. And you know your mom was on my program, and she was a little girl too, and we're going to hear from her. Okay, I'd like to have you come back again. Would you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's give her another round of applause. And now I would like to introduce you to a very special guest tonight. His name is Jerry Berry, and he has been helping We Poets here for the past 6 or 7 years. I've kind of lost track, but we're going to let him tell you all about that. Hi, Jerry.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for coming and helping us celebrate tonight.
Oh, I'm very happy. This is the 34th anniversary. I'm
Yes.
very happy. A lot of good work.
And tell us how you got involved with We Poets.
Well, I think I met you when you came in to pick up cookies from the Bread Project, which was running the cafe that I was interning at that time. I was at the Berkeley Adult School, and that was a course in basic culinary. And I saw you, and I recognized you from your show. And my late wife and I used to watch and enjoy your show a lot. And I noticed you had Maury Turner's graphics up there, and we talked about him, and you mentioned that you were good friends. And so you invited me down to the show one evening, and I came down, and you were short one camera person, and you put me right on.
Right on the spot.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
And the rest is history, I guess.
The rest is history. Now, tell us something about your background in media.
Well, I studied fine arts in Boston at the School of the Museum and Fine Arts, and incidentally, one of my classmates was David Lynch. He's a well-known film director. He was studying painting there at the time. He'd gone on to study film in New York later on. We were in the same English class, and I wasn't too well acquainted with him, but we'd see each other a lot, and we'd just say hi. So, But I was studying sculpture at the time, so we didn't cross paths that often in the school. And then I studied a bit of photography, and then I got into a program conducted at the one of the hospitals in Boston, which was under the auspices of Harvard Medical Teaching Community. Mm-hmm. And was a course in biomedical photography, and I studied. It was a year-long program, and before graduation, I actually got a job at a lab at Harvard Medical School, and I worked there for a couple of years. Then I went out to a lab in Stanford and worked there, and I got married, and my wife is a great graphic artist, and she was interested in film herself. And I had studied animation before that at Foothill College in Santa Clara. And I had actually done some animation before, and I was doing the medical photography, and some paper animation to showing a movement of blood cells. It was for patient education. Uh-huh. So I went over to Channel 25, and they were actually short of a camera person that night also, so they put me on a camera.
Right away on the spot.
Yes. And then I got involved in one of the programs, and I did camera and crew work, and then I eventually became director and producer. It was a 1 hour weekly, supposedly public affairs series, but we would read public service announcement on air. I wouldn't, but the anchors would, which were very good. And then I got the idea of doing mobile shoots, going out to these organizations that had wanted their public service announcements read. And we did remotes, and they would come on, and we'd show the footage from that. And sometimes if someone's sick, I would actually be one of the anchors. I was terrible at it. And so I have such a great respect for you. You do such an amazing job and make it look really easy.
It's
not easy.
It's not easy. No. Now, were you going to talk about 3 different clips, was it?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Well, I actually, my wife, who was a very talented person, she was a musician and she was an artist. She got me interested in cartooning.
Oh.
And so she said, oh, you should do cartoons. Because I always would tell jokes, so I did some cartoons. And I actually entered the Bay Guardian cartoon contest in the early 80s. And I won 3 first prizes in different categories, and I won honorable mention, all in the space of about 3 years. And I think I brought some photographs I took with my cell phone last night, and Adnan might edit them in, or maybe he's showing them now, I don't know. But
we'll find out.
They're mildly amusing.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell us before we take a break?
Oh, no, I think that's about it. I've just enjoyed all the time with you, and I loved being among the talented we poets you had on.
Yes, aren't they wonderful?
Yeah.
And all the interns and guests
it was
and children
great.
who have been on the
Great
show the
shows.
past 34 years. We couldn't have done it with all these thousands of people that have helped us.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm delighted to be among them.
Well, thank you so much, and we're going to have goodies afterwards, and you can go around and meet some of the people.
All right, thank you.
Boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, don't turn off those TVs. We're going to take a quick break, and then we have 2 more young ladies who were on our show when they were poets. I'm going to interview them. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to We Poets' 34th year anniversary. I'm interviewing several people who were on my show when they were just a little girls, and so now here we go. Hello, Julia.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Could you look there at the camera and tell us your name, and then we're going to talk about when you were on when you were a little girl.
Okay, I thought you were going to say my name and how old I am. My name is Julia Akpan, and the first time I was on the show, I believe I was 7 years old.
And we have a poem that I put in our book of poetry that I'd like for you to read, please.
Okay, this is me at 7. The poem is called School. I went to school today instead of staying home to play. I read a story, wrote my name, and went outside to play a game. I learned to sing a happy tune. In science, I learned about the moon. I added 4 numbers in a row, learned many things I did not know. I made an elephant out of clay, and after such a wonderful day, there's just one thing I'd like to say. I'm glad I went to school today.
Great, let's clap. Wasn't that wonderful? And today is Julia's birthday. Now, I'm not going to ask her how old she is, but let's sing happy birthday to Julia. All right, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Julia. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Now, what are you going to do to celebrate after we finish the show?
Well, actually, at home, I have, I think, some cake waiting for me. Both my parents are going to be there, I believe. So there'll be more cake, more singing. And who knows what's after that?
Who knows what's after
I've
that?
heard there might be surprises, so I'm ready.
Yes. Now, tell us about your parents. They also worked on We Poets.
Yes. So that's how I actually found out about We Poets. My parents were both, I believe they worked the cameras
Yes.
from time to time, and they also did stage direction.
Yes.
And then after I actually got older, I did some stage direction and did a little bit of something on the boards. I think with sound, I helped out back there when I was about 13 and 14.
Yes, isn't that something?
Yes.
Now, tell us, what have you been doing these past umpteen years?
Well, more recently, I guess the last 3 or 4 years, I've actually been working as a lead content strategist for JP Morgan Chase and their app on their phone. So it's been great.
Over in San Francisco?
Yes, in San Francisco.
And what does your work entail?
Oh my goodness. Well, it entails basically, I pay a lot of attention to the voice and the tone and the language that we use and all of the words that we use in the app and the way that we communicate with our customers.
Good, good. Uh-huh.
And I lead a small team that also does that because I can't by myself do everything.
I see. Is there a nice ethnic mix of people working
Oh,
there?
it's wonderful. It's actually a really diverse group that we have both on our team here and the other half of our team in New York.
Oh, good. So do you get to travel a lot?
Yes, but more recently I've just been traveling not to New York, but to Plano, Texas, which is lovely, but I wish I could do more travel to New York.
And that's work or pleasure?
That's work.
That's work, uh-huh. So tell us some more about yourself. Have you traveled outside of the country?
Oh, I have. So I've, I guess, in school when I went to university, I minored in Spanish, and so
Oh.
I went to Costa Rica for 4 or 5 months.
Good.
And I got a job out there working and talking to people and just kind of working on my Spanish skills. And that was a lot of fun. And then since then, I've always lived in California in the Bay Area, but traveled around some.
Uh-huh. And your 2 children came tonight and they read the poem.
Yes.
But your son was a little shy.
He was. He didn't want to write a poem. He didn't want to read a poem. He said he wasn't really interested in being on TV.
Oh.
But he has been sitting over on the side drawing some really nice drawings that
Oh,
I'm sure
really?
he'll show you later.
Oh, good, good. Now, is there anything else you'd like to tell us before we hear from your sister?
That's what I was going to say. My sister's also here, and she was on the show. And she's actually done a lot more traveling. So I think you'll be interested to hear what she has to say.
Oh, well, good. Well, Julia, thank you so much. You were always ready. If a poet didn't show up one night for the show, I could call your mom or dad, and they said, Julia's got a portfolio of poems, and you'd come and help us out. So thank you, and I'm so proud of you. You've grown up to be such a beautiful young lady.
Thank you.
Thank you. Boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Now I'm going to interview Julia's sister, Morgan. We'll be back in just a moment. And now I'm going to be interviewing Morgan Ursery. She is the sister of Julia, and she's going to tell us all about herself. And she also started out on We Poets when she was a little girl, and now she is a beautiful young lady. Hi, Morgan.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Could you look right there in the camera and tell us what you did when you were on We Poets many, many years ago?
I'm trying to remember, and I'm pretty sure when I was here, I don't know that I had a poem. If I did, it was a short poem because I wasn't too much of a writer. I think when I came on, I was 6. And I had a lot of different collections. So I used to collect stuffed animals, I used to collect erasers, and I used to collect really fun calendars. So I think when I was on, I shared a little bit about my stuffed animal collection.
Good, good. And did you ever go into media, doing media, or tell us about what your career is?
Sure. So I went to the University of San Francisco and I studied visual arts there. And then shortly after, I moved to New York City to study my MFA. And I studied fine art there, and I had a really great time. When I was doing my MFA, I got to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Really?
They did a segment of my like class of painters, so that was really great. And after I graduated, I actually worked for an art and design school as an admissions officer. So I got to travel around a lot doing admissions work and reviewing other students' portfolios who were interested in going to art school, give them feedback and advice. And I got to do a lot of travel. So I got to go to China. I got to go to Korea once.
Korea?
And
Oh.
all over the United States. So I got to go to Florida and Louisiana and where else did I go? To Portland, Oregon, and Chicago, and all over. So that was really, really fun.
Of which foreign country did you like the best?
What I like the best? I really love Italy.
Italy,
And I really liked going to South Korea. I went to Seoul. when I
Oh,
was there.
what was different there that kind of gave you a culture shock? Or?
Well, the food in both places is amazing. So
Oh.
the food I think is really great, and it's really walkable. So I like cities that you can walk around and see the sights, and in Italy especially, there's really great art history, of course, sculpture and painting and things like that. So just being able to walk around and eat and see kind of another culture is really great.
Good. Did you learn a foreign language?
Oh, kind of.
Which ones?
I know a little bit of Spanish and a little bit of Italian.
Oh, good, good, good. Now, tell me some more about you. What do you like to do for fun?
For fun, I do still like to travel. I really like doing outdoor stuff. I don't work in admissions anymore, and now I do marketing for continuing education programs. So I really like learning more about kind of different careers that people want to do and why people want to be lifelong learners. So that's what my job is, but it's also something that I'm interested in. So I really want to continue to learn as well.
Good. So how long are you going to be here in the Bay Area?
Just for the weekend. I flew in to surprise my sister on her birthday.
And what a wonderful surprise. And I was so surprised.
Yeah.
I had talked to your sister, but I said, who's this lady coming? She said, this is Morgan, don't you remember her? I said, no, she was just a little girl when I last saw her.
So I'm the surprised guest.
Isn't this wonderful? So I know after the program you're going to go home and celebrate.
Yeah, celebrate more.
Isn't this great? So tell me more about your mom and dad.
They're doing great. They're both retired and
Good.
enjoying themselves being retired. Our mother, she works at kind of a wine tasting room, so she gets to teach people about different wines and what that's all about.
Oh.
And our dad, he does a lot of like Habitat for Humanity.
Good.
He used to be an engineer, so he's really handy, and he can do electrical work as well. So he kind of helps the community doing that.
Isn't that great? And they were our two first adults, your mom and dad, and then they brought you girls.
Yes.
Where do the years go?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm as old as we poets. I'll be 34 this year.
Really? Yeah. Well, let's sing happy birthday to her too. This is Morgan. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Morgan. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now stay tuned. I'm going to be interviewing Adnan Tuma, my business partner and the director, so we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back. I'm Sally Baker, the host of We Poets, and tonight we are celebrating our 34th year anniversary, and I would like to introduce you to my very special guest and my director. His name is Adnan Tuma, and Adnan and I decided we wanted to start We Poets way back on Valentine's Day, 1984, and we had never done a television program, but we decided we wanted to do it, so I went to all the major TV stations to see if they would let us produce our show, but they all told us, well, Miss Baker, I don't think a poetry show will go. The only thing that sells on TV is sex and violence, so I don't think your show will sell. But I said, well, I'm going to show them different. I said, we are going to do something for children and let children produce it, and so here we are. So Adnan didn't have any experience in television production, and I had very little. I had been a host on another TV show, but we rolled up our sleeves and decided we would do it. And Adnan is he never takes no for an answer, and he decides if he's going to overcome his challenge and do it, and he does it. And so I'm very, very proud of him. And We Poets has won over 40 awards, but there are several that we're especially proud of, and I want to tell how proud of Adnan I am. He won a very special award called Heroes in Education on the Big Spin, and we got to go to Hollywood. And the actor Jamie Farr, who was in MASH, the TV series, he presented the award to Adnan. So that was real popular, that a TV Hollywood man would give Adnan this wonderful award. And then we both got to go to the White House to receive our first award. President Reagan invited us back in 1986, and we received a check for $10,000. And so that sort of opened the door for We Poets, didn't it? And then I received the For Those Who Care award at Cron over in San Francisco, and Miss Betty White, who was the famous actor, or who was, the famous actress in the the Golden Girls. She presented me with the award, and we both had evening dresses on that were similar, although I'm sure she paid thousands of dollars for her dress, and mine was just an off-the-rack evening dress, but they were similar. So those are just two of the wonderful awards of the 40 that Adnan and I have received. And I'm so very, very proud of you, Adnan, for doing all the wonderful work here and all the wonderful children that you have trained, the interns that you have trained to be on We Poets. And then we also got to go to Paris, France, Adnan and I. We took 15 interns from Berkeley High School, and Adnan filmed us in schools in Paris, France for 2 weeks. And then Adnan and I were invited to go to Runaway Bay, Jamaica for 1 week. And we stayed at a real swank hotel there. And then we filmed children reading their poems on We Poets in schools that were near the resort where we stayed. So I'm very, very proud of Adnan.
You're welcome.
He's done a wonderful, wonderful job.
My pleasure.
And I want to say that everybody should have a hero. When I was growing up, my hero was my great-grandmother, who lived to be 106 years old, and her son, my great-uncle, who was blind. And they were just outstanding heroes for me. And since I came to California and we did our show, Adnan has been my hero.
Oh, thank you.
So anything else you'd like to say for us?
Yeah, all.
Adnan is always behind the scenes. You don't see him. You always see me in front of the scenes, but he's behind the scenes making me look good. But tonight I want to show all the wonderful work he's done for We Poets. And let's give my hero a welcome, a big round of applause. And we would like to invite all of you to stay after the program and have some goodies. And we would like to thank our sponsors for all of the goodies they gave us tonight for our party. We would like to thank Trader Joe's of Berkeley and Oakland, Safeway, the Big Apple Cafe in Oakland, Little Caesars in Berkeley, North Beach Pizza in Berkeley, Friend Graphics, who's a photographer, and he came tonight, and he's taking pictures of us. And of course, we'd like to thank Berkeley Community Media and Comcast and all of the thousands of children and interns and teachers and parents and guests and TV stations and sponsors and viewers. And now we're on YouTube. So we have lots of people to thank that have helped us this past 34 years to bring you an outstanding program. So we would invite all of you to stay afterwards and have some goodies and have some pictures taken. And we hope that you will continue to watch We Poets. I don't think we're going to do it for another 34 years, but maybe a couple. And I want to thank all of our interns who are here tonight, and the parents who came, and our guests who came. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I would now like to introduce you to two lovely interns who have been with us this year, and they're going to tell you their name and something about themselves and what they've learned here by working as an intern on We Poets. So we're going to start with Tyler. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, my name is Tyler. I'm in 10th grade, and I've been working at this internship for 6 months. So far, I've learned how to work a studio camera, a soundboard, and control board.
Good, good. Do you think you're going to use this experience when you graduate from high school or college?
Yes.
And what career do you think you want to pursue?
I think I want to pursue a career in law.
In law?
Yes.
Why do you think you'd like to go into law?
Because I also did an extracurricular activity called mock trial, and I really enjoyed it.
Wonderful. Where was that taken at?
I took the class at my school, El Cerrito.
In El Cerrito?
Yes.
Good, good. You want to tell me about some of your activities there, extracurricular activities?
The extracurricular activity I did was mock trial, and I really enjoyed it because it's kind of like fake court, so it's like acting like lawyers and witnesses and stuff like that.
Oh, good, good. Have you traveled anywhere?
I've traveled across country once in 2011.
Where did you go?
to Illinois.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
First time there? Mm-hmm. Oh, good. Why was it a little bit different than Iowa? I'm sorry, I came from Iowa, than California.
It was way more hot and humid.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it was just more hot, and there was like more bugs and whatnot.
Lots of bugs and mosquitoes, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to tell us about your internship here, or just anything you want to tell me about you?
It's really fun working or interning here because I've got a lot closer with people and developed more skills.
Oh, that's great. Well, you've done a wonderful job, and we're going to give you an A+ for the class. Well, thank you. And now we're going to come over here to Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Miss Baker. My name is Michelle. I'm also a 10th grader like Tyler, and I started the internship the same time she did.
Uh-huh.
Like she said, I'm really grateful for this experience, and I would love to keep interning here until for the remaining time. Mm-hmm. But it's amazing because I was able to learn how to set up mics, how to set up a set, work cameras, and learn how recording works in a studio, in a actual real life studio.
Good. You've been doing an excellent job, and I'm very, very proud of you. And I'm going to give you an A+ too for your class. Now, tell us about some of the extracurricular activities you do.
So, at school, I'm on the badminton and the tennis team, and I really enjoy that because I do enjoy exercising.
Oh.
And I'm also in the leadership class, which is a chosen body of students that represent the entire school.
Mm-hmm. Good, good. And have you traveled?
I have not. I do wish to.
What countries do you think you'd like to go to?
I want to go to China, which is my parents' hometown, but I've never personally been there.
Oh, good. Do you speak Chinese too?
I do.
Oh, good. How many dialects do you speak?
I only speak two, Mandarin and Cantonese.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh. Now, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about you before we end our program?
Oh, not in particular, because I think Tyler said it all amazingly. Good job, Tyler.
Uh-huh. Now, we have one other intern who had to leave early. Would you like to say something about her, please? Give us her name.
Her name's Connie. She's same as me and Tyler. She's a sophomore at El Cerrito High School, and she started the same time as us. I'm sure she really enjoyed this experience as well. She learned a lot, and she was really grateful she was able to work on the cameras to learn how to work them.
Well, I want to thank her too. So I want to thank both of you young ladies for coming. You're doing an excellent job. And like I say, I'm going to give you an A+ grade. So without further ado, let's tell our watching audience goodbye. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.